If you are under 30 and you have not left the country yet, this video is for you. My name is Allison, and I'm a creative and traveler based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm on a mission to get all my girls out of these states, okay? And not necessarily like moving or anything, but I just want us to travel. I want us to get outside. I want us to see the world and just reimagine what's possible for our lives. So I took my very first solo trip back in 2022, and I went to Arizona, and I was terrified to do this trip. I had never done a solo trip by myself before. Well, obviously it's a solo trip. I've never did a solo trip before, and it was also during COVID a little bit, so I was a little bit nervous about that, but I was just so worried about what would happen. Am I going to be okay? Like what? Just all these things. That trip changed my life. And I know people say things like that and it seems very dramatic, but like it truly did. Like that trip opened my mind up to so many things. I remember like being there and like feeling like, wow, I didn't even know all of this was possible. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could see these things. I didn't know I could really give myself permission to see the world like this. Like I felt like I had to wait and go with somebody or XYZ, all the reasons you would give for resisting doing something. I had them. So I know all of your excuses because I've had them too. But that trip opened up my world. And I have traveled before. Like I'm not necessarily new to traveling, but in the way that I have traveled in the last 3 years, completely changed from that trip and how I think about life and how I think about what I think is possible for myself and how I want my life to go. That trip was the gateway to that. So that solo trip opened up the door, and then starting to travel and see the world has just transformed how I see life in so many ways. I think that travel can be your best teacher. I think above all else, travel teaches you so much about yourself, what you're capable of. I think it also can teach you that there are so many different timelines that we can be on in our life. I think in America, we can be really stuck and strict with a certain timeline that we were brought up in. You have to do the things, you have to do, these little checklist things that we have put ourselves on that we feel like we have to accomplish by certain dates, certain milestones. Travel can really expose you to so many other different timelines. And I think that you can decide for yourself, whether that's the timeline you want to be on, but the exposure of knowing that it's possible is what has been key for me. Knowing that there are places in the world that you think this XYZ is important. There's people who have completely different values, completely different value systems, timelines, milestones, so many other processes that they're operating on, and they're just as happy, if not happier, than you are. And I think that alone can really be such a mind shift. And sometimes it can be a heavy, like, kind of realization to come to too, because it can feel like, wow, I've been living my life according to this, but like, whose system was I adhering to? Like, where did I get that from? Knowing that there's all these other options out here. And so that can be kind of something to deconstruct of like, why did I feel like I had to do this? And sometimes it's internal and sometimes it is our external influences, what we have grown up with, what we saw our parents doing, what we see our friends doing, what we learned from our teachers in school. All these different things have influenced our lives. But when you're traveling, especially somewhere in a new culture, a new country, anything that's just new to what you're used to, it exposes you to a completely different way of being, and that alone can transform you in so many ways. Travel has also made me a much more empathetic person. I've always been pretty empathetic, but I think it can make you just more sensitive to others around you and to others with differences, whether that be language barriers, anything that has made somebody else different. It can make you more sensitive to that when you yourself are placed in an environment where you are the outlier. And so now you are placed in this position where you can see what it feels like when you can't communicate with somebody else, when you don't know how to do something like get on a bus. Like, I recently went to Nicaragua and I had such a struggle just trying to figure out how to get from a bus from the city I was in to another bus. And somewhere like in Atlanta, where I'm from, that would be no problem for me. But I had the biggest issue trying to figure that out. So it just humbled me. It humbled me in such a way, because I'm like, something so basic to me was not basic at all. And so I think it puts you in a position of being vulnerable and really seeing what that feels like. So when you come back to where you're from, when you come back to your home country, your city, and you see that in your own environment, you're much more empathetic to it because you've now been in those shoes. And it just gives you a different perspective. Another thing that I think travel can help you with is reimagining what you think is possible for your life. One of the biggest takeaways I always have in my trips is who I'm connecting with and what they're teaching me. So this goes for the locals that I'm meeting and also the travelers, like the other people that I'm meeting who are also traveling, what I'm learning from them as well. Every trip that I've been on, I've met somebody who's doing just a little bit more than like what I thought was possible. So for example, I went to Venice back in 2022 when I spent a month in Italy. I was staying at this bed and breakfast in Venice, and I at the time was traveling for 3 months, and I was like, this is amazing. I'm traveling for 3 months. Like, I'm abroad. This is cool. I went to the kitchen of the bed and breakfast and I sat down and was having my dinner, and this couple walks in and we start talking, and they're from Canada, and they were like, oh yeah, we're traveling for a year. Like, we're biking through Europe and then we're going to fly to Southeast Asia and spend the rest of the 6 months there. And I was blown away. I was like, you're traveling for a year? Like, you can do that? That's possible? And then you're doing it by bike? Like, it truly was like an explosion of my mind of like, wow, I'm thinking I'm doing something with 3 months, and here they come with a year. And then even another example is when I was in Colombia, I met a woman who was world schooling her daughter. She was from New York and had lived in Atlanta for some time. And she was like, I don't trust, or I don't like the school system that we have. So I just wanted to educate my daughter. And they have been traveling for the past 3 years, Mexico, Colombia. And she's truly just world schooling her. And I was like, I didn't know that you could even do that. So it's so fascinating always meeting people who are just doing a little bit more than what you think you can do. And it just stretches what you think is possible. Now, when somebody tells me they're going somewhere for a month or 2 months or 3 months, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And, but it's like now I've seen how much you can be doing. So that's nothing to me. But if you had said that to me maybe 5 years ago, I would have been like, a month? What? Like, how are you doing that for a month? And now I'm like, oh, you should be doing that for a month. You should go maybe for 4 or 5. Like, try it out for a little bit more, because it's stretching what I think I can actually do. So if I leave you with nothing else, please leave with this. You are capable. You are brilliant. You can do all the things. You are stronger than what you think. And these are all words I wish I had heard at like 28, 29, when I was questioning my life, questioning what I thought I could be doing, scared to go on a trip, scared to go out the country to do something. And if I only knew what was waiting for me on the other side of that, I would have been out of here so much quicker. And really taking that leap and just trusting that it was all going to work out. And to this day, I can't speak enough to what travel has exposed me to, and I feel like I've only scratched the surface. And I've seen so many places. I've done things I've only imagined that I could do. I mean, just truly things I've only once imagined. And so I can only dream about what I can continue to do, because now I've opened that door for myself, and it's given me so much more confidence to feel that, one, I'm deserving of it, and 2, that it's possible. And I think anytime that you truly feel or are determined to make something happen for yourself and really want to elevate yourself in a way to just be more exposed to the world, be more curious and adventurous, a better person, like, it makes a way for you. You have to decide. And lastly, I will say, it also allows you to give yourself permission. I think a big thing that I felt like helped me back a lot in my 20s was I felt like I was waiting for permission from somebody else to do the things that I wanted to do. I think a lot of the times when we're thinking about something or wanting to go on this trip or wanting to do that, and we keep, that feeling when you're calling your friends, you're asking their opinions, you're asking your family what they think, it's really you searching for that kind of yes that you want, but nobody can give that to you except for yourself and God. I would say God, but I think you get that from connecting with yourself and knowing who you are and trusting that what you want is possible, and that it may be different than what other people may be doing or whatever, but like, you just have to trust yourself. So my big takeaway is give yourself the permission and don't worry about what other people are doing or saying, whatever. Just do it for yourself. So there's nothing I can't do, and I truly stand on that. 10 toes down, not one toe missing, as our princess Amaya Papaya has told us. I truly think that is the key. Just having confidence in yourself, giving yourself permission, and do what you want to do. So go see the world. I can't wait to share more about what I've been seeing, what I've been doing, and encouraging you all to keep seeing and doing the world. And please let me know when you go on that trip. Let me know where you're going, because I want to hear about it. So talk to y'all soon.